I love these kinds of questions. Look, if you are really into this kind of question, there is someone who you might like to Google. His name is Ard Louis, as in like King Louis. So whether you've seen The Jungle Book or whether you're familiar with French history, it's the same kind of Louis. He is professor of theoretical physics at the University of Oxford and is also head of postgraduate theoretical physics at the University of Oxford. He has some videos on YouTube why he explains as a theoretical physicist he believes in miracles and in a God. So if you want some answers from a theoretical physicist about this, go watch those YouTube videos. Let me just say this. The Big Bang, if you're familiar with it, starts with a big bang. At which point space, time, light. So there's nothing, and we have this huge expansion of the universe that happens really, really quickly, even faster than I speak. How does the Genesis account talk about creation? Well, there was nothing, there was God, he spoke, and then there is light. Now, isn't that interesting? Most people in the ancient world understood that light came from the sun. So you don't create light, what you do is you create a sun, and the sun gives light. Does that make sense? But according to the Genesis account of creation, it starts with a huge explosion of light. Now, any of you heard of someone called Albert Einstein? Okay. Almost as clever as some of my team. He had a famous equation. You may be familiar with it. E equals, anyone know? mc squared. Great. Now let's ask what those things mean, shall we? E equals energy. M equals mass. And C? Speed of light. And you need to square it for the equation to work out. Now, isn't that interesting? That means that energy, mass, and the speed of light are interchangeable. You can resolve that equation in any way you want. And the way the Bible resolves that equation is, in the beginning, let me get this right, C equals E over M square root. It's basically right, isn't it? We start with light, and from that we get our energy and our mass and the rest of it. So I don't see any incompatibility between these two accounts. As a matter of fact, the biblical account is quite interesting. The biblical account is even more interesting when you consider this. Up until 1950, almost everyone in the world believed in what was called the steady state theory of the universe. So when you said, when did the universe begin? The answer was, it doesn't have a beginning, it's always been there. The steady state theory was the main theory. And in the 1950s, some wacko scientists came along and said, actually, we think the universe had a beginning, and there was this huge explosion, and everything came from that. And everyone said, that can't possibly be true. One very famous scientist in England, one of England's most famous physicists at the time, said, that can't possibly be true. The only people who believe that are people who believe in the Bible.